In this webinar, we cover the following items: why you need to integrate Salesforce and NetSuite, integration best practices for automating lead to cash, and a product demo of Celigo's Salesforce and NetSuite Smart Connector. Are you using Salesforce to manage CRM and sales pipeline, and NetSuite to manage orders and billing? If so, then is lead to cash automated with seamless sales order and invoicing processes leading to timely revenue recognition? Do your sales reps and other Salesforce users have complete visibility to customer order and billing information? Is the order workflow and handoff between sales, operations, and finance seamless and instant? The ability to achieve these benefits depends on how well Salesforce and NetSuite work together. In order to work together, key data needs to be automatically synchronized between Salesforce and NetSuite. This will eliminate manual processes and help automate lead to cash. Once a sales rep closes an opportunity in Salesforce, the information needs to flow into NetSuite. As part of this flow, the following needs to occur. Verify if account under contact exists in NetSuite. If not, the new customer and contact records should be created. Then, a sales order should be created based on the Salesforce opportunity. This would then also create an order in Salesforce. Since best practice is to use NetSuite as a system of record for products and pricing, the Salesforce product catalog must remain in sync with NetSuite's item information. To give 360 visibility to customers, financial information should be available in Salesforce, such as customer balances, payments, credit memos, credit limits, and account status. These best practices are part of Celigo's own Salesforce to NetSuite Smart Connector. Peter will now give a quick demo on how this out-of-the-box integration can automate your lead-to-cash process.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a Salesforce account. So I'll create a new account. Okay, a couple of things I want to point out on the Salesforce account here. So this is, again, all a native Salesforce. This NetSuite Financials, this is where we'll bring back that balance information once we create it within NetSuite. This order object here, this is a native Salesforce order object. So this is where we'll bring back any sales orders from NetSuite upon creation or update and populate them here. This is our custom financials object. So this is where we'll see invoices and payments, credit memos, those types of transactions that we provide out of the box. So I'm going to go ahead and click on a new opportunity. So again, there's nothing specific that I'm doing here to Celigo. This is just going to be standard Salesforce functionality. I'm going to go ahead and add some product. This is going to be a product that has already been integrated between the NetSuite items. So if we actually go ahead and take a look at one of these, take a look at the professional services, look at the actual product within Salesforce, you'll see that it's already been linked to a specific NetSuite item. And that's how we do the translation from between the products in Salesforce and then the NetSuite items. Best practice is that NetSuite is going to be the master of items. So whenever an item is created or updated, it will trigger the connector to create a real-time sync to either go and create a Salesforce product. And same thing with the pricing. Any list pricing is going to be maintained within NetSuite using what's called the price levels and then the currencies within those price levels. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of products here to this opportunity. Again, this is all standard Salesforce UI and functionality. I can provide different pricing. The other thing I can do as well, so out of the box, we have functionality with the current notes, standard notes and attachments object. So I can attach an object here, a file. So it could be an NDA. It could be the assigned proposal. It could be a requirements document, but it's something that we include as part of the integration over. So a lot of our customers will have an actual approval process within NetSuite with a finance manager, and he or she would want to see what the actual signed contract is. So I'm going to pretend that this opportunity is fully vetted. I've won the business. There's a couple ways that we can trigger this sync. The first is with the saving of the opportunity in a specific stage. best practice is actually also with a button that we'll provide with our Salesforce package. So when we click this button, it actually pops the Salesforce visual page with Salesforce actually starting up the queue to send this record from Salesforce over to NetSuite. So actually what it's doing is checking to see if the Salesforce account, Advanced Software, has been linked to a NetSuite customer. If not, it will create it as a NetSuite customer, and then link the two, do the contact sync, which I wasn't showing today, and then finally do the opportunity sync. And once the opportunity is synced, our connector is actually re-triggered to go from NetSuite back to Salesforce, where we'll then populate that order here in this order object, which I think it just did. Yep, so it just refreshed. And then here's, if we look at this opportunity now, here in that order object is the actual NetSuite sales order. So if I was the rep who actually initiated this sync, 25, 30 seconds later, I know that finance has got the order because I can see it in NetSuite. It's ordered NetSuite order 1532. I can see it's in a pending approval status as well. If I do right click on this, we actually write back the line level information. So if for some reason there were any changes to the products, the quantities, or the pricings within NetSuite, we can write that information back to Salesforce to both the order as well as the opportunity products as well. And then if need be, we can also print the PDF in NetSuite and bring it back from NetSuite to Salesforce as part of the out-of-the-box flow. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over to NetSuite and pick this up from a finance perspective. So let's go into NetSuite and look up our customer. If I had included the contact sync, I would see a contact underneath here. If I look under addresses, the addresses I put in Salesforce have made their way over. These are just simple mappings between the two objects that we have. If I go back to the transactions, then this is where I'll see the sales order that was created by the Salesforce connector. I'll do a right click on that and open that up. So any of the pertinent information I need to map at both the header as well as the line information, these are all simple mappings as part of the integration. So I've got the same products, the same quantity, the same pricing. NetSuite's going to take over at that point and insert any RevRec schedules or billing schedules that you've associated with those items. We can pass, start dates and end dates from Salesforce if it needs to be read from the opportunity itself. If we go to the file cabinet, then we can actually see then the attachment that we had attached from Salesforce has made its way over to NetSuite. So everything I'm going to do right now is just going to be, I'm going to go through it fairly quickly. It's just all standard NetSuite functionality. So I'm just approving it. I'm going to create an invoice for it. And then after I create an invoice, I'm going to create a partial payment so I can make the balances. But each one of these transactions is actually triggering our connector to push it over in real time over to Salesforce. So I'm going to save the invoice here, invoice 406. And then from there, once NetSuite saves it, I will create a partial payment for it. So I'll accept payment. And let's say of the 16,500, they pay 4,000. Okay. And then let me go back to the customer record. And if I go to the financial tab here, and I do a refresh of the customer, then now we have made some balances on the NetSuite customer side. There it is. Balance is 1,200. We can put them on, let's go ahead and put them on credit hold. Let's say they have a credit limit of 25,000. So now if we go back over to the opportunity, refresh the opportunity, now I'll see the invoice associated with the sales order that came from this opportunity. I'll see the status. I can drill down into the actual header level of the information, when did the invoice, what its date was, how many days it's open, what the amount was. We again can print the PDF and bring that back as part of the sync from NetSuite over to Salesforce if you need that line level information. I actually go back to the Salesforce account and I go to the financials on the Salesforce account, then that's where we'll see invoices as well as payments. Payments are at an account level, since a payment can span multiple invoices, which would span multiple opportunities. So this is where we're getting all this financial information from NetSuite being written back to the Salesforce database in real time. So because this information now lives in Salesforce, it's available for any of its Salesforce users and their security settings to build dashboards, reports, workflows, whatever they need out of it. If I go here to the NetSuite Financial, so this is actually the only non-real-time sync that we have with this out-of-the-box solution. The reason being we just don't want to be pinging Salesforce all day long with financial information. So like if I was an account manager and I was going to call into this account, what I could do is push this button, which would actually trigger the integration to go get that financial information specifically for this account, and it's where it's linked to within NetSuite. Now we can see it's got a balance of $12,500, that their credit status is on hold, and they've got a credit limit of $25,000. So again, this is a product. This is pre-built. All these objects are already linked by the Salesforce Connector product that we have built and that we continually maintain. If we go back into Integrator IO, then this is where we can see how all these settings just need to be configured. There's no coding that needs to be involved. So if you take a look at the settings here, we've got groupings of the flows that you'll see. So right now we're on the account sync. So you can see in this instance, I've got the NetSuite customer syncing back to the Salesforce account, that bidirectional sync, it's turned on. The Salesforce account going into the NetSuite customer, that's also turned on. One thing that's different about Celigo's integration platform, since we have been focused on NetSuite and are experts in NetSuite, the way that we built the integration with NetSuite as well as anything with Salesforce is we've created a UI for the maintenance of the field mapping so that a business user is going to be able to do it himself or herself. So if I click on that field mapping section here, so let's say you go live on the Salesforce Connector and 4 months later, finance comes back and says, well, we've added these 7 new fields that need to be added whenever a NetSuite customer is created. So that's something that would have to be sourced from the Salesforce account. So no other integration platform company has this. What we actually do is we actually render the form, the NetSuite form for you to guide you in the mapping. So what we're actually looking at here is actual NetSuite. So if I'd open up, actually when I open up the NetSuite customer record for this account, this is exactly what it's looking like. I can change the form to any form that I need to access any of the fields that are going to be required for the integration from the Salesforce account to NetSuite customer. So mappings are as simple as selecting from the Salesforce field using the labels. So if I wanted to find the industry field, I could just start typing dust, and it's going to do a global search on any standard or custom fields on the Salesforce account that would match that. And then on the NetSuite side, same thing. We've got a list of all the standard and custom fields available on the customer record. But what we do is we actually, with the UI, if you go ahead and click on the field itself, it does the mapping for you. So it actually greatly increases the ease for a business user to be able to maintain these mappings, especially when we need to get down to these sublists within NetSuite. You don't need to know the API names. You just need to be familiar with the form that you would be using if you were hand keying this in yourself anyways. So these are all the out-of-the-box flows that have been built. They just need to be configured, turning them on or off. We've got different advanced settings that you can turn on or off to increase the functionality. If you look at the product settings, these are all the different products going from NetSuite over to Salesforce, which is the best practice. And then finally on the dashboard is going to show you any interactions occurring with the integration between these two applications. So if you have any errors, like we do in this case, you can actually click on the error. It's going to show you the error that's actually been populated. So it looks like actually in this case, this Mary Redding at Celigo.com, she doesn't exist as a user within Salesforce. So when we were trying to insert her into the record in Salesforce, we couldn't because she didn't exist. So you can choose, by which flow you want to look at errors. You can look at all of them at once. You can look at whether it's got a status or not. You can pick a date range. So these are all things that can be provided out of the box with our Smart Connector.
Thank you, Peter. I wanted to end this webinar with a quick recap of why Celigo's integration solutions can help you automate lead to cash and other business processes. As the first connector product for Salesforce and NetSuite, Celigo's integration is the most comprehensive solution accommodating common and unique business processes. Celigo invented smart connectors. These are pre-built, out-of-the-box integrations that are built, maintained, and updated by Celigo. Thousands of companies have relied on Celigo's expertise in NetSuite, Salesforce, and cloud integrations to quickly and successfully integrate their applications in order to streamline their businesses. I encourage you to visit www.celigo.com for more information.